I went toward her while she was mingling around me. There were small hands free into her ears, and she was talking on the phone, I suppose. My sense of hearing is a little bit weak. It was weak since I was a child. And one of my weaknesses in English also is my listening, even in my own mother tongue. If someone whispers, I do not hear, and they need to repeat that again and again. So if we are in a gathering, and you want to share with me something by whispering into my ears, I am not a good person, because either you need to repeat that again and again, or say that loudly in a way that everyone else in the room will understand that. What I could hear was only some whispers and some vivid names. Damn it, she was talking to her boyfriend. I told to myself, shit again. After any years I saw someone that I really liked, but she got a boyfriend. I was really disappointed, and I thought I am unlucky that she was talking to her boyfriend. But when she come closer and I could hear what she was saying, I could understand by reading between the lines that she was talking to her mom, not a boyfriend. A sparkle just shined in my head, and dopamine was released, the same feeling when you are waiting for someone and they text you. I was not in the mood to go on a date or even to hit on the girls or even have small talk about weather and stupid stuff. Dates, in my opinion, are stupid, all of them. You go on a date with someone you do not know. You ask about their favorite music, color, etc., and their hobbies and what they adore or condemn. As a person with existential depression, talking about very rudimentary and simple things like colors, daily life, eats, restaurants, and the same shit is really beyond my patience. Let me put it this way. Imagine you are not into a person that much, and when you add the date and the conversations there in the date comes to your mind, you would forget about it all. And above all, my instinct is the last thing that I would go. Not a saint or a mystic or a monk or anything the same, but I know how instinct can ruin lives. So I would control my instinct, especially libido, not to create problems for myself or someone else. You know, I have always, to be honest, most of the time considerate, and if something in my life had benefits for me while damaging someone else's life, I would never do. So I would never play with any women's life, never let them love me if I am not going to be loyal to them. When I was young, 2 times, unintentionally and mistakenly, I have done wrong things. But honestly, it was not what I wanted, and betray just happened. Later, I will tell you the exact story of what happened. Then you would see it was not really my fault, and even I will share with what my fault was exactly. A human would never get benefit while others are harmed. Never, no excuses, and keep this in mind. I am talking real human, not the tamed or the wild animals in the world. Do you remember the 6 phase to create a human? Later, I will explain more about these phases. Since the last flame of my life, Catherine, never tried something serious, never. Not even had proper motivation to go on dates, and if I went, I was not as jovial as I used to be. Not even had proper motivation to go on dates, and if I went, I was not as jovial as I used to be. Women were not my type of thing. Do not get me wrong, I am not either gay or low sexual desired. Honestly, it is very difficult to share the feelings with you. Only I can tell that I was not in mood or had motivation or eager to meet someone new. It is like when you were 20 and you wanted to hang out with many people, outgoing, wanted to join many communities, going to parties, bars and clubs. But now, in your 30s or 40s, you prefer to stay at home. If you're invited to parties or any group gatherings, you would choose any excuses not to go there. About dates and girlfriends, I was like this. And to tell you the truth, after Maria, the wrong girl at the college, I lost all my energy, as if all my love and emotions were spent mostly there, and the last one, Catherine, it was all gone. Simply, when it comes to talking about love and dates, I'm spent, I'm wiped out. After designation and getting 20 kilograms of overweight, I decided to get the control over the train of my life. After designation and getting 20 kilograms of overweight, I decided to get the control over the train of my life. I have told you about the train and the destination and shits related to that in the last video. If you have not watched that, take your time and watch it fully. I got the control over the train of life. Of course, I was not at the destination. You would never reach the end, and destinations always create more destinations. But this time, I was working out. I had plans. In one single word, I can say my life had a shape. The reason why most partners have cracks after some time is simple. Imagine two people who don't even know what makes them happy. They've never learned how to build their own lives, and yet they walk into a relationship. What do you think the outcome will be? It's like two crazy people falling in love. So if you're single or alone, don't waste your energy chasing friendships or going on dates. Instead, focus on yourself, on your own life, and I guarantee your soulmate will come to you effortlessly. That soulmate will be the one who truly makes you happy, someone you'll want by your side for better or worse. I started a business. I was exercising, lost 20 kilos, shaped my goals and objectives, and I finally knew what I wanted from life. Recently, I've also had the ability to read people well, almost instinctively, but let me be clear. Reading people is completely different from judging them. One day I'll explain how to read people properly and how to avoid falling into the trap of false judgments. There's an important difference between the two. Still, when it came to women, the ones I might have feelings for or consider as partners, I could read them extremely well. Before committing to a relationship, I'd make sure, through my best assessment, that I wasn't going to hurt anyone. You see, I might unintentionally harm women, but they can't harm me. If you're bipolar, you'll understand what I mean. Bipolar people don't experience love or emotions with the same intensity as others. I don't really fall in love. The chemicals in my brain simply don't work properly, and I know that's a fact. Another characteristic of bipolar people is that they tend to be indifferent toward things. As a man, I admit I wouldn't cling to a girlfriend the way others might. I'd ignore her one moment, show affection the next, then return to indifference. It's a cycle that repeats itself. And when it comes to women, there's something dangerous here. If you sleep with women but show little to no emotion toward them, they'll want you even more. They'll crave your attention and affection, but as long as you keep them thirsty, never fully satisfying their emotional needs, they'll fall even harder for you. It's almost an addiction. Bipolar people, without even realizing it, use these cycles and other tricks to make their partners get hooked. And once hooked, there's no easy way out of that addiction. It can be suffocating. If you ask me, I'd say that by this point, yes, I was ready for a new, logical relationship, one rooted in maturity. I'd learned from all the faults with my past girlfriends. I'd learned how to control my anger, how to avoid being arrogant, and how to address my mistakes. I tried to change myself because relationships, as I see them, are like roses. They need patience, care, proper attention, and a space to grow strong and healthy. As I grew stronger, I knew finding someone who shared those values, someone like me who understands themselves and the world, who knows what they want and has plans, would be hard, especially in a world where everyone, in some way or another, struggles with mental disorders. If you think about it, we all have mental problems. Some suffer internally, while others inflict that suffering on those around them. And even if suffering isn't obvious, there's always some hidden struggle, some unresolved conflict. I'm certain of that. All people from all walks of life have complexes, layers of pain or dysfunction we've never fully addressed. And many of these remain unseen. If you examine your own behaviors closely enough, if you scrutinize your actions, you'll start seeing the cracks. I also don't entirely agree with psychologists who claim that everything is rooted in childhood. Sure, childhood matters. It shapes a part of us, but it isn't everything. Once you invest in yourself and your life, you stop wanting relationships with just anyone. You wouldn't settle for any Tom, Dick, or Harry. When I realized she was talking to her mom and not a boyfriend, I noticed something else. I could see the potential for her to be someone special. With my ability to read people, I could sense that she might be the kind of person I was looking for. Of course, I knew how to talk to girls, how to start relationships without even letting them notice they were being drawn in. But this was different. A woman hiking in the mountains early in the morning wasn't some ditzy bimbo. Sure, bimbos might be attractive. They might be sexy. But if you're watching my channel and you're one of my subscribers, let me give you a piece of advice. Never go for bimbos. They'll ruin their lives and yours. They'll drain your energy, walk all over your patience, and fray your nerves until there's nothing left. But there's a way to make things better. Always aim for that. What to do before looking for a partner or soulmate, wife, or any shits they say? The first step is to create a gentleman out of yourself. Know who you are, and where you want to be headed. Of course, do not rush in and never lose your gentlemanhood and knighthood for libido. Intercourse releases dopamine in your brain. It doesn't last long, so never lose your humanity for that. Never sacrifice your humanity and never rush into having sexual intercourse with your just-met partner. Let it happen naturally at the right time, in the right situation. Let it happen by itself. Don't rush it, nor suppress or postpone it. You select your partner based on proper criteria. But you would never have good criteria unless you know yourself well, and at the same time know what you want in this life. Nobody loves a weak, good-for-nothing man, not even his mom. And if you see wrecked men with someone beside them, there are only two possibilities. Their partner is wrecked too. Their partner has a type of mental disorder, savior complex. Learn how to be independent and needless. Create a life that people adore. Always keep this in mind. Relationships, love, partnership, these are only parts of life, not the whole of it. So regardless of your gender, whether you're a man or a woman, never let a relationship consume your whole life, because if the relationship becomes your everything and it breaks, then you will break too. Love, marriage, partnership, these are only chapters in your life, and how much you devote depends on your choice. Even if you have the best partner imaginable, you still need space for your own life, your hobbies, your passions, your personal world. Each side of the relationship must accept one crucial truth. We are all flawed. We are creatures full of imperfections, full of mistakes, weighed down by chemical burdens, unanswered questions and unknowns. People, men and women alike, are victims of many things. Parents, families, societies, nature, and so much more. We live in an imperfect world, and neither we nor our partners will ever be perfect. If you ask me, having a successful partnership means accepting that you're full of psychological problems yourself. You try to improve every day, and you extend that same idea toward your partner. If both sides accept this, they'll better understand each other and adapt to the conflicts and cracks that naturally come along. Imagine this. You want to become a driver. What would you do? First, you'd take driving lessons, then you'd practice. And after many years, you might become a good driver. Life works the same way. You need to learn and practice. First, you need to learn how to live with yourself and practice that. Then you need to learn about men and women, their needs, their important traits, what they adore, what they reject, common beliefs, even biological patterns, and then practice those lessons. For example, I never knew how to express my feelings. Most of the time with my girlfriends, I thought I'd seem weak if I shared my emotions with them. I didn't know how to show them I loved them, and they often didn't know if I loved them or not. There is a black methodology that says, never let people know how much you love them. To some extent, I agree with that, especially at the beginning of a relationship. But once you've shared many moments together, both good and bad, your partner needs to practically see that you love and care for them, that you're ready to sacrifice and devote a small part of yourself to them. Devotion has limits, though. Never sacrifice yourself completely, not even after 60 years of being together. Always keep some space for yourself. Learn how to express your emotions, not just love, but all emotions: anger, sadness, frustration, joy. This is incredibly important because if you fail to express yourself properly, misunderstandings will arise and your message won't be conveyed in the right way. Let's be honest. Language itself, even your mother tongue, is weak when it comes to expressing emotions. Words often fail to capture what we truly feel. So take actions to show your emotions and avoid serious talks over text or online. You're more likely to be misunderstood. These lessons aren't just for relationships, they're for life. Learn how to express your anger to your boss or your colleagues. Learn how to express sadness or frustration. This is why I say focus on learning how to live rather than finding a partner. The right person will show up at the right time, in the right situation, at the right place. You simply need to be ready for that moment. There's one final point. If you're not ready, don't rush into love or marriage. It's better for both you and the person you might want to be with. Avoid more mistakes, because all of us have been harmed by emotional challenges before. For the sake of avoiding loneliness, don't rush into new challenges. If you feel alone, I can guarantee your focus isn't on your own life. Because if it were, you wouldn't feel alone. And here's the truth about loneliness. We're all alone, even if we have the best partners in the world. Your mind creates this reality. It builds this world. And you can never stop your mind. So I'd say, on some level, we are created to be alone. Solitude is woven into our essence. It's part of who we are. This is why I insist on independence. Embrace your loneliness with love, because even with love we are alone, and without love we are just as alone. Whether we accept it or not, loneliness is our constant companion. Escape loneliness by turning inward, toward yourself. Nothing exists outside of you and your mind. Here is the content of the letter I will share with my unborn son. My son is lucky to have this father, a father who never lets his children suffer. A true father does not bring children into the world just to suffer, and I will make sure my son understands this. Letter to my son, dear Eugen, I hope this letter finds you in peace and filled with hope for the future. As your father, I wish to share some life lessons and experiences that might help you create a better life and a stronger relationship with your wife. It breaks my heart to see anyone suffer in their marriage, and as someone who has seen ups and downs, I want to provide some guidance that can bring love, joy, and harmony into your life. Life is like a train moving forward, stopping at different stations where people come and go. But the train itself never stops its journey. People may accompany us for a short while with a purpose, and it's up to us to derive meaning from these associations. I deeply believe that every individual who enters our lives serves a reason. I am overjoyed when I see you and your wife radiate love and affection. Despite the chaos of the world, true happiness can be found in the love shared between two people. It's one of the few things that can truly uplift me, seeing you build a life filled with love alongside your wife. Therefore, I write this with hope that you will embrace the wisdom shared here and apply it to live a meaningful life. We have responsibilities toward those around us. Accepting these duties and being accountable is crucial. Know that your wife, like all women, naturally demands love and affection. Even if you struggle with these emotions, it's essential to remember that her needs may differ. Respect is fundamental in any relationship. It doesn't matter if you're alone or in public. Respect and kindness should define your interactions with your wife. Striving to uplift her doesn't signify weakness. On the contrary, a joyful partner reflects positively on your own life. Often it's not necessary to bring up mistakes, especially in matters of belief, as each of us may be flawed. Respect and understanding can elevate your status in the eyes of others. Long-standing conflicts, such as family disagreements, should be handled with diplomacy and minimal exposure to negative interactions. Brief, cordial encounters with such individuals may foster peace and calm. Every conversation and interaction is an opportunity to create moments of joy. Life is indeed challenging and often feels aimless, yet amidst the chaos of love, friendship, and laughter, there is space to find joy. Focusing on anger or trivial issues will only burden your spirit. In times of struggle, even when positive outcomes seem out of reach, the mere effort you put into nurturing your relationship can have tremendous value. I didn't realize the significance of effort until it was too late with someone important. My wish is for you to learn from my experience and not make the same mistakes. Never underestimate the power of expressing love and affection. If barriers prevent you from showing your feelings, work to overcome them, as your wife deserves to feel loved and adored. This recognition is a basic human need that adds meaning to life. Like seesaws, relationships require balance. Both parties should take steps to come closer, ensuring neither overshadows the other. Approach your wife tenderly, without fear or hesitation, because true affection does not operate on expectations or calculations. If you feel distanced, communicate openly about your desires and concerns. People cannot read minds. Clear communication can bridge any gap, ensuring mutual understanding and respect. In your shared life, cultivate collective aspirations, no matter how trivial they seem to you, as they may be invaluable to her. Such goals create a sense of partnership and connection, enhancing conversations and deepening your bond as you work together. Lastly, avoid making light of divorce or separation. Such topics can insidiously become normalized, eroding the sanctity of your commitment. Always uphold your love and support. Disregard conflicts in favor of embracing the beauty of companionship. Embrace love openly. Let your affection be evident to all. Help your wife see you as a pillar of strength and never shy from seeking guidance if needed. Therapy gave me newfound perspectives when I was reluctant to change. Remember, expressing love physically can enhance your bond and health tremendously. Be there for each other, nurture the life you build together, and grow stronger through the ebbs and flows of marriage. Support her wholeheartedly, and I promise blessings will come your way. With love and hope, your father. The last words I want to share with you is that if things are not okay between you and you are in a toxic relationship where every day you suffer, be sure that you are vulnerable and need to make yourself stronger. That toxic relationship is nothing but a terrible dopamine addiction. It's exactly like taking drugs. It feels the same. Take the suffering time and give it up as soon as possible. There is no hope. And if you are waiting to see it flourish one day, I should say you are stuck in a stupid addiction loop unless something changes. I have my saying, imagine there's a bottle of water and you shake it. Do you expect that by shaking the bottle of water, the substance inside will change? If you shake it until doomsday, what's inside the bottle will remain the same, unless you add something to the bottle or change the water entirely. So, if you are in a toxic case, do not be patient unless something is changing, and rarely will things change unless there is strong wisdom behind it. When it comes to hiking, going uphill is fascinating. But when I start to come back down, it's boring. It feels dull, and at the same time there's a pressure on my knees. I'd rather use the telecabins to go down. She seemed to feel the same way that day. The telecabins were uncrowded, unlike most days. I asked her if I could join her in the same cabin, and she nodded. The cabin could fit 6 people, but it was just the 2 of us inside. I sat in front of her but avoided staring at her. I never want to give women that bad feeling, never want to send a lustful or dirty gaze their way. I've seen how men check women out, those dirty looks, full of voyeurism, like lasers focused on her curves. Just once, imagine how ugly that picture is, how it looks from the outside. You'd hate yourself. Women usually hate that gaze too. I always avoid it. And I hate it when I see others staring in that way, regardless of gender. This time was no different. I didn't stare at her. I let my glances be gradual and natural. I mostly looked at the view behind her, the navy blue cap she wore, her straight long hair with a little wave. And in those moments, I was thinking about how to start a conversation. Talking about the weather felt stupid. I thought maybe girls liked fun, cool guys, and I should say something humorous. But then again, that felt stupid too. I wasn't in the mood to act like a womanizer or a pickup artist. When I was 19 or 20, I had motives to play those roles. But at 37, I wanted to skip all that. I wanted to open my eyes one day and see myself in a deep, meaningful relationship instead of chasing shallow encounters. For a moment, I thought, okay, man, you're not in the mood to start anything like a date. Let it go. Forget about it. Don't start the conversation. But then I thought, what if I just tell her the truth? By the way she carried herself, I could tell she wasn't like those childish girls, chasing platonic fantasies and flowers, waiting for grand romantic gestures. It seemed obvious that she was looking for something real, a gentleman. I was thinking about these things when she started talking. Do you often go hiking? I was so lost in my thoughts that I didn't catch her words exactly. I only heard whispers, not clear sentences. For a brief moment, I thought maybe she was talking on the phone. Then, very gently, her toes touched the toes of my trainers, and she repeated the question. Do you often go hiking? That was when I snapped out of my own world and jumped into reality. Her scent hit me then, strong, unforgettable. It reminded me of Catherine, my last flame. Her fragrance filled the cabin and my nose, stirring everything within me. Smells change your world, don't they? Especially hers. With her voice, her scent, her presence, my heart started beating. I was shocked, surprised, and for the first time in a long time, I felt something deeper. As a bipolar person, it's rare to experience emotions so pure, so overwhelming. She repeated the question. For a moment, I wanted to start showing off, to act like my younger self, the charming womanizer, trying to be cool and exaggerate my stories. But before I could start, I stopped myself. I'm 37 now, not a teenager looking for thrills. Lies, show-offs, and exaggerations weren't the kind of foundation I wanted to build anything on. I controlled myself. I reminded myself to be a gentleman, not a pickup artist. It's funny how boys often transform themselves when they encounter women. They begin acting unusually, pretending to be someone they're not. And honestly, I know how to do this pretty well. But this time, I didn't want that. Very gently I replied, yeah, usually I go to the mountain every weekend. And that was how I ended up after 10 minutes in the middle of a conversation I didn't want to end. I controlled myself, not showing too much eagerness. After all, one of the strategies to make women love you is this. You talk and flirt with them, but avoid showing eagerness. But honestly, for the first time, this conversation was the only one I never wanted to let go of. We walked to the parking lot, and I asked her if she needed a ride home. She told me she had her own car and would drive herself. When it comes to asking people for favors, I'm usually shy, or maybe it's some psychological reason I don't fully understand. So I didn't want to ask her for her phone number, but I also realized this was something I couldn't miss. A person like her might not show up again for another 37 years, and the thought of losing that chance terrified me. When we said goodbye, I asked her softly, "And what's the name I can call you by when I give you a call and we meet again?" In that one sentence, I did 3 things. I asked for her name, her phone number, and for the chance to meet her again. She laughed loudly, as if she enjoyed my flirting, and just as we said goodbye, I secretly looked at her backside. I imagined her curves in my palms, and couldn't help but laugh to myself. I walked to my car, sat down, closed my eyes, and let her scent take over. I imagined the next time we'd meet again, and the first thing I'd do would be to hug her tightly, bury my nose in her hair, and inhale deeply the fragrance of her. Share with us your questions, experiences, or anything you think we can help you with. Share your story in the comments. What are your thoughts and suggestions?